let's talk some songs that
Sure.
you possibly
Yeah.
you might have grown up listening to, and possibly from your dad. So we are very close to Laurel Canyon, and so that you
Right.
have a few artists
Yeah.
on this album. There's
Yeah.
Jackson Brown's These
Totally.
Days. Um, okay, so tell me, is this a kid thing or you discovered this
Uh,
thing?
I
So okay, go ahead, David.
the first time I heard that song, I had just started playing guitar, and I saw Saint Vincent do a version of this song, but it was like it was there's a Nico version that's really famous,
Hmm.
and it was Nico's arrangement of that song, and she kind of mimicked that version, but I was just so transfixed because Saint Vincent's amazing, and so I learned that version, and then I went down the internet rabbit hole and I was like, oh, Jackson Brown wrote that song, holy crap. Then I was like, oh, Jackson Brown wrote that song when he was 16, holy crap. And then I learned his version, and then I learned Nico's version. I learned this version and that version, and well, I didn't like learn them, but I
Sure.
ingested them. And so this would probably, I would say that this version on the album is kind of a conglomeration of all the different versions that I learned. I got different ideas for how to do things on the phrasing and the chord structures and stuff from all those different versions that I really loved.
Yeah. And that brings up another interesting point. I mean, covers are tough. You don't want to be an impersonator. You want
Mhm.
to have the Brother Brothers
Yeah.
version of this song. But a lot of these days, it's embedded in a lot of people's brains. Like that's like a great
Yeah.
version. How do you find your entry point, or how do you find some? I mean, you brought in different things, but what was something like, oh, I can do this a little bit differently, or was there
I
something?
think that, well, I'll just say this without trying to sound very hippy dippy. There's a certain point where, like, if I wrote a song that I've got it arranged, it's recorded, it's done, and there's a point where it's kind of stops being yours.
Mhm.
You're learning it from a different place in your brain than the place that you wrote it from, and it feels exactly the same for me to sing, you know, the Robert Earl Keen song, feeling good again, as it does for me to sing any song that I've written, because they're both in that like long term memory part of my brain, and I think once they get there, they become yours,
Yeah.
or they become not yours, or whatever it is, and so that's the beginning of it's no longer.
Yeah.
Then you kind of have a version that is your own because you're
Boy, that
playing it from.
sounded really hippy dippy.
They, wow, way to support